Oh, hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my first place undefeated Spright Bystial deck profile. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my locals, Top Choice Gaming, for hosting a great tournament, as always. And a big shout out also goes to Overdose Gaming for helping me with cards that I needed to play with. And other than that, I think that's really about it. I haven't really been playing too much locally. I think I've only done like maybe a couple rounds of locals, but other than that, that's really it. And I've been basically not playing too much in person. I've been playing more online and then just working through this holiday season. So I wasn't sure how I was going to do. This list does seem like kind of suboptimal. There's definitely stuff I want to change in the list, but the deck did well, and I was really happy with how the deck performed. And then that's really it. My matchups round one, I believe, was against the Mirror, and then I played against, what was it? Sun Avalon, and then I played against Tyr, Draco Slayer after that. And basically, it's just been a lot of fun. I'm just glad to be playing again, and I haven't really been too thrilled with the format, but all I know how to play right now is Spright, so I just went ahead and played Spright on my locals because it has been a while, so I just went with All Reliable. And yeah, guys, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and show you what we played. Starting off with the main deck, of course, we do play 3 copies of blue. You kind of have to play 3 blue. I don't really know what you're doing if you don't, but 3 blue is, of course, optimal. 3 copies of Jet, of course. I do play 1 red, 1 carrot, and I opted to play Pixies. I do like Pixies a lot because Pixies does come in clutch. Basically, like you'll see in like the duels that I post coming up, when your opponent just tries to go and enter battle phase, and then you have your elf out, you do your elf, target your blue, you add the Pixies, and then basically you just have protection for your elf until your next turn, unless they try to get rid of it through some other kind of method. But I do like Pixies a lot. I feel like it's still a mainstay in the deck, and it is 40 cards, so like if you want to play something else, feel free to play what you want. It is just preference, but I did like playing the Pixies because it did come up a lot for me during the tournament. So that's it for the names. I believe it's 9 names. I know this is very standard. I do play 3 copies of Nimble Beaver. I've wanted to not play the Nimble engine originally, but it's just so good. I feel like if you want to be having like any kind of success with Spright, you do have to play the Nimble cards. So like with that, we do play the 2 copies of Angler for that reasoning. These cards are really busted. I wasn't a big fan of them at first, but after playing with them and then getting to learn them, all that fun stuff, these cards are amazing. So Sprint just becomes so much better being able to play these, dumping your Angler to summon your Beavers from the deck. Very good. You can make Masquerena, you can make your Gigantic, however you need to at the time, but I do highly suggest playing the Nimble cards if you're going to be playing this deck. For swap, I know a lot of people play 3 swap. I have been seeing that, but I still opted to play 2. I don't really like 3 copies of Swap Frog. I don't want to like brick on them because like even sometimes you do draw this card, so if you draw this in Beaver, then you can just pitch the Beaver, summon the swap, or you could just hold the swap to summon like later. But basically, I didn't want to like fill up with multiple swaps, especially since Ronin's banned, so I felt playing 2 was fine because you just summon it off of a Gigantic. But I am also playing Ibly. I wasn't really too sure on how this was going to do for locals because, again, I haven't been playing in a while. I played it for the YCS, and I just kind of like kept like a rough build from the YCS and now. And Ibly, I think I summoned once. I didn't really like feel that I needed to summon it too much. I was only really going to use this against like the Sun Avalon player, but it was fine, I guess. I mean, you don't have to play it. This could be like Hyperia, or you could play like another Hand Trap. You could play Change of Heart, whatever you want to play. But I opted for Ibly. I'm probably going to cut this for something else moving forward, but I wouldn't play 3 Swap Frog. I think just playing the 2 is fine. And then for Ibly, it was good. Don't get me wrong, like it's a great card, but this sucks to draw. So when you're playing 40 and you're going through your deck OI, like eventually you will draw this card. And it's not terrible to draw, but it's just not optimal. So only one Ibly, but probably going to come out in the near future. And of course, I do play Bystials. So I was playing 3 copies of Magnamut, 2 copies of Druisworm, and I played 1 Serenir. This was fine. I mean, Magnamut and Druisworm is insane. We all know that. But I opted to play Serenir because I wanted to have an additional target in case I opened up both of these. And I wanted to make sure that I had any interaction with Tier Element as I could. So I was originally just playing the 5, and then I opted to play 6 because I was playing some hand traps, and I ended up cutting one of them just to make room for the Serenir. And it came up once, having the Serenir, so it wasn't like terrible, but I don't know if I would keep playing the Serenir going forward. I think I would just need to do more testing with it. But These cards are great. These cards are really good. I really like these cards a lot in the current format. They are probably going to be getting limited or banned in the future. Who knows? These cards are really, really powerful. And with the OCG list that just came out, maybe we'll see a Magnum limit in the future. But these cards are really good. I'm glad I played 6 because I felt if I played 5, then I probably wouldn't see as many of them as I did during the tournament. But these cards are really good. And then for hand traps, I actually opted to play 2 copies of Mourner. I know this doesn't really look correct, but I did actually have a lot of good success with this card. This card is actually really, really busted. Being able to just have it follow Kikalis when it hits the graveyard is really good. That burn effect does come up in time. I was debating on just not playing this at all and playing like more going second cards, but I ended up just playing this. I didn't want to play Valor because I didn't want to have like Bystial be live at any point. Like, having the Jet and the Blues already like suck because they're just able to hit those to trigger their Bystials and that blows. So I wanted to make it like harder for them to try and Bystial me, and playing these kind of hand traps were definitely the way to go. So like on top of the Mourner, I also played 2 copies of Bell, and I know people don't really like expect this one a lot, but Bell's like more like popular, I would say. But I really wanted to play Bell. I didn't feel comfortable not playing it, so I was originally playing 3 Bell, and I took out the 3rd Bell for the Ibly. And going forward, I'm probably just going to put the 3rd Bell back in because this card's really busted, and just being able to stop tier as much as possible is the way to go. But that's it for those, and then to pair it off, I did play 3 copies of Ash. It's local, so I wanted to make sure that I had like some kind of like answer for Rogue. I know this is a really heavy hand trap lineup with the 6 Bystials and then these hand traps and all that, but I'm also playing 3 copies of Impermanence. I went really, really heavy on the effect negation because if you draw like 1 or 2 of these and then your 1-card starters, like, it's so good already, and they're just really nice to have because, you know, hand traps. So very nice there. I believe it was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 hand traps with the 6 Bystials, so 16 hand traps technically per se. I know it's a lot, but they are really strong in their own way, so you do kind of have to play them. You could play less if you want, but it's just what worked out for me. And since I was so heavy on those cards for the spells, I only played 7. I played 3 copies of Starter, of course, because it's mandatory. 2 copies of Prosperity. I was playing 3, but I ended up cutting 1 at the last second because I wanted to still have room for Call by the Grave. And of course I played the Smashers. I wasn't playing Double Cross. I didn't really feel like Double Cross was needed. But with the 3rd Prosperity, I debated on side decking it, if anything, to just help dig into the side deck. But it never really like happened for me. I really didn't need to like do any of that. I don't side anything for going first other than like probably like something like just another hand trap. But Prosperity at 2 was fine. I never bricked on multiple copies of this, thankfully, but I also barely saw Prosperity during the tournament. So maybe that was also like kind of what like hindered me a little bit. But this was my spell lineup. I only played 7. I didn't really need any more and didn't need any less. I didn't want to play Foolish. I thought Foolish was just kind of greedy at that point. And then on top of that, I didn't play Fenrir, which I've seen a lot of Spright lists do, is play Fenrir lately. But I wanted to have like all the cards in my hand be unnoticeable as possible. So like if I have a bunch of hand traps in hand and like a Fenrir, like the worst hands that I've had is opening up like Fenrir, 1 Spright name, and then like a Bystial and a hand trap. And basically you don't want to do that. You don't want to have like a whole bunch of like interruption, like in terms of summonable monsters. You want to have like stuff that just kind of activates in the hand. So if you like Fenrir and then you're just sitting on a Fenrir and not any Spright monsters, it blows. So it's kind of like a brick. I tried playing it at 2, but it just didn't come up for me to where I felt like I needed to keep it. So I just ended up cutting Fenrir altogether, and then I just played more hand traps, and it just worked out better. But that's it for the main deck. Just 40 cards in the main deck. I didn't really feel like I needed anything less. I was debating on playing 41, but I ended up just playing like a clean 40. And if you want to play like more than 40, you could play Fenrir, or you could play like more hand traps, or you could play Talents, which was another card that I felt like was missing from the main deck. But it's all just preference. So 40 cards in the main, no more, no less. For the extra deck, we play 2 copies of Gigantic. I don't need any more, don't need any less. This card is busted. I still love this card. Probably one of the reasons why I still play this deck, because this card is just so cool. I played 1 Omabaru. I really was debating on playing the Herald of the Peerlight, I believe. It's the rank 2 Herald monster. I wanted to play that, but I didn't have access to it, so I ended up playing the Onibaru. I never summoned it. It got banished off of Prosperity a lot, so it was basically there for going second, but I never felt comfortable summoning it, so I don't think going forward I'm going to keep playing this. I might just change it out for the Herald. I also like the number 2 Xyz. I got that summon on me in the mirror match, and that card's actually really strong because it helps you go into Zeus, and it gives you an extra material for Zeus that can't be destroyed by battle, so it's really good. But I think going forward, I'm probably going to end up cutting this for either the number 2 Xyz or possibly put Sky Cavalry in, and I really do want to try the Herald Xyz as well. But those, and of course we play the Toad. You have to play the Toad. Just picked up this Euro one, very, very clean. Definitely play these, other than this of course, but you have to play the 2 and the 1, obviously. Downerd, I didn't really feel like playing Downerd, to be honest, but I didn't have another spot really that I wanted to play. I thought Cat Shark was bad, I thought Emerald was bad. Just all those other cards that just say win more, like Mannequin Cat, I don't think is really good right now. Now that people have caught on to the side deck pattern for Mannequin Cat, like if they see that they're playing it, they're going to play around it, and it's just not fun. So I didn't want to play Mannequin Cat, I just ended up playing the Downerd with the Zeus. But even then, I like never summoned these cards. I think I made Zeus once, and that was against the Spright matchup, but against everything else, I never made it. It just didn't come up for me. For links, I ended up playing 1 copy of Sprint, of course, 2 copies of Elf. I don't know if this is correct. I kind of miss playing the 3rd, just to have that extra kind of, not luxury, but insurance, I guess. I didn't want to really, like, burn through my Elves as fast, and sometimes there was instances during the tournament where I did need that 3rd Elf, just for the grind game. So I think going forward I might try to fit a 3rd Elf in here again. But when you're playing the Sprint, which is why I was able to fit the 3rd Elf, was because I wasn't playing Sprint in the past, it's hard. It's a really tight extra deck. So I think if anything I might cut the Downer because I never really make Zeus. So it's still got some testing to do with this new format that we're in. Masquerena, Dark, of course, these are very standard. Phoenix I still play. I know a lot of people don't play Phoenix anymore, but I do like playing the Phoenix because of course it matches the Unicorn as well. But Phoenix is really good because you can just summon it, summon your guy, and then make a buff Gigantic, so that's always nice to have. And then like people playing Crime and people playing Macro, D-Fisher, like all this other random shit that you're going to be running into, I felt Phoenix was very necessary to do. Unicorn's great because paired with Masquerena is just undefeated. 1 access code, I just still play the access code just for going for game. And then Avermax, I only made like once or twice, but it won me the game whenever I made it. So that's it for the extra deck. Moving on to the side deck real quick. Side deck was 1 copy of Resonator. I shouldn't really have to explain this too much. I never sided it in because I never got too close to time. The only time I really did get close to time was against the Spright matchup, where we were basically just both top decking, and then I got in for enough damage to basically win the match. But Resonator is still, I feel, mandatory, like if you're not going to be playing like Dogwood or anything like that, so I did just opt to play the Resonator for that reason. 3 copies of Droll. I just wanted something for Flunder. This is really good against Flunder. It's really good against Draco Slayer, Drytron, what's it called? The Spright Mirror. Like, this card is really insane right now. It's good against everything that's basically not tier. Like, you really just side this in for Rogue, and it does a lot of damage. So this card won me a lot of games, and I'm not really upset about it because this card's really good. But you have to play 3 Joel, I feel like, coming into this format, because if you're not playing against tier, Joel is going to be good against basically everything else. So that's the monsters, I guess. And then I opted to play 3 talents in the side deck. This is something that I'm not really like sure how I feel about. I wanted to play 2 talents in the main deck, but I listened to Pack's reasoning about like why he plays 3 talents on the side, and basically like when you pair up the 3 talents with any of like these other cards, like 3 Raigeki I also played, Feather, Change of Heart, and then Triple Evenly. When you're pairing up the 3 talents with any one of these, you're going to be able to break a board. Talents pair with Raigeki, like you go to Raigeki, then they go Negate, and then you just go Talents, take their guy. You're mostly going to be taking a Baron, but you're going to take that Baron, target a card they control, pop it, and then you can go ahead and combo off from there. You go Prosperity, they go Ash, or they negate it with one of their guys. You go Talents, look at their hand, and just basically Talents is one of the most broken cards in the side deck. You could main deck this card if you want. Again, it's all preference, but personally, I honestly really liked it in the side deck because I would side it in going first and second depending on the matchup to see if they like sided in hand traps or not. Basically, like cards like Infinite Impermanence and Like all these other trap cards is like the only like real way that Talents doesn't become good. But they're going to be wasting a negation or some form of interaction like a Bystial or Baron or Roll Kalos. Like all those cards trigger your talents to where you can just go ahead and use whichever effect you need to go ahead and win the game from there. But I'm just babbling at this point, but I really do like the reasoning for the 3 talents in the side deck paired with like all these cards that help you like basically go for game or help you stop your opponent. It's just so free. So, but I never really saw talents during the event. I think I saw it once and I never even activated it because I was just in too good of a spot to do that. But that's it for the main deck, or the whole deck profile, I guess. Sorry, I know a lot of it was just rambling, but I haven't played in a while, so I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that I got all the information out that I could, because it was a lot to go through, even though this list is super, super standard. But I had a lot of fun playing. Again, this was a first place list. I don't really do that a lot, so that's why I kind of had to share the list that I had. But the deck was really good. I really like this list. Again, probably going forward, I'm going to be playing no Ibly. I'm probably just going to fit room for more like going second cards. Like Mind Control was one that got used against me during the tournament. I really want to try playing that. Change of Heart would probably be tight in the main deck just to help for going second. I don't know if I'm going to continue to play Mourner in the list, but it was really good when I played it. I don't know if it was like a one and done thing, but during testing, it was just a reason for me to just keep wanting to test and see what the ratios were. Pixies is staying in this deck. I think Pixies is a forever mainstay in this list, but that's really going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video. Take care, everyone.